Welcome. Welcome to the video on programming requirements. Programming requirements. What you need to do the programming. Basically, programming environments. Some other fundamentals related to the operating system. So fundamentals related to the operating systems and the programming environments. That are the two main topics we are going to discuss in this session. Programming requirements. Programming requirements. Operating system. From programming perspective, an operating system is a program which provides us the environment which is convenient for programming. So an operating system is nothing but a program. It's a software. So the desktop computer which you are using, the laptop computer, the smartphone which you are using are loaded with the operating system. Without operating system, you cannot use them. Now, what is the purpose of operating system? What is the purpose of operating system? From the programming perspective, there are many uses of operating system, but we don't go into the details. From the programming perspective, it provides an environment in which you can do the programs. So you can do the programs. So it provides some support for compiler, interpreter, linker, editor. Also integrated development environments can be loaded. So using that, you can develop the programs. It also simplifies the task of access to various resources like processor, hard disk, memory, keyboard, and mouse. It allows us to use various resources, though we will not be directly using those resources. We will not take directly the help of the operating system. Maybe we just concentrate on the language related resources, language related libraries, which in turn will access the resources. But anyhow, those resources, hard disk, processor, etc., they cannot be accessed without the support of the operating system. Don't have an operating system, it's a hell for you. Some operating systems like Unix integrate compilers, editors, etc. That means they come along with the operating system. You need not load explicitly some other integrated development environments. So they come with the compilers, editors, etc. There will be built-in support. If built-in support is not provided, if you want different environment, then you have to load it explicitly. Loading it is not a difficult task. The popular operating systems that are generally used for programming, you can say, popular operating systems that are generally used for programming are Unix, Linux, Microsoft Windows, Mac, Android, and iOS. So in this course, we consider only Windows and Android actually. And maybe you can experiment with working with the Linux environment also. Unix or Linux, doesn't matter. So you can try it out. So Mac, we in India, we generally don't use, not widespread here. And iOS also, maybe people with iPhone can go with iOS, but otherwise, because most of the people use only Android based phones, so we will restrict ourselves to Microsoft Windows and Android. So the first four are actually desktop operating systems, or we can say they can load them in laptop also, but the last two are loaded into the smartphones. Complexity of the programs depend on the features provided by the operating system, particularly when you want to do some low-level programming. So what are the features that are available at the operating system level? You will be making use of those features. So if you have better features supported by the operating system, if we can easily access them, then programming becomes easy. So probably now we are doing actually serial programming, what is called as serial programming. Maybe days are not for where you have to go for parallel programming. So because we have multi-core processors, multiple processors in a single system. So you should make use of those hardware capabilities. So, but still we are not making use of them. Two parallel programs are to be written, which exploits the hardware, for our use. So maybe many languages will come which support two parallel programming. Okay, Microsoft Windows operating system. Microsoft has released a series of operating systems starting from Windows 3.1, the latest being Windows 10. And in fact, at the time of this recording, Windows 11 is also made free of cost, provided you have Windows 10 legal operating system. You can load it. Okay. So Windows 3.1 to Windows 10. They are built on the top of the disk operating system called as DOS, which supported only command mode interface. That means there will be a prompt where you go and type the commands. That's why it is called as command mode. You have to type the command. Command is nothing but any test you type. Can be taken as a command, provided that code related to that what you are typing is supported by the operating system. It is available as part of the operating system. Okay, if you type garbage, it will not become a command. So initially command mode interface, but immediately graphical user interface is supported. Even Unix for a long time supported command mode interface, but nowadays all operating systems provide GUI, graphical user interface. So you have to explicitly load the compiler of C language. In the case of Microsoft Windows, it will not come built in into the this Microsoft Windows. Of course, there are some editors which are directly supported by the Microsoft Windows, which you can load, and they provide the integrated development environment like Visual Studio. It supports, but the issue is at present. You need lot of space for them. Visual Studio is very good. You can use it if you want to. If you are a serious programmer, you can use it because it supports multiple languages. Not an issue. Supports multiple languages. Fine. You can use the same environment for doing programming using different languages. The only thing is it occupies more space. If you have good desktop or a laptop, then fine. It will not work on smartphones. Okay. So one such environment which we are going to discuss is Turbo C. One such environment which can be used to develop C programs is Turbo C. Microsoft Visual Studio can be used. One of the important features of this integrated development environments is, apart from integrating the required tasks, like it allows you to type the programs, it allows you to compile the programs, it allows you to run the programs, it allows you to debug the programs. Many features are integrated. So apart from it, there is one feature called as autocomplete feature also. Autocomplete feature, that means it provides you the auto suggestions. Okay, you are typing something, it guesses and it provides you the possible choices. So you can select one among them depending on what you require. Okay, so that autocomplete feature or auto suggestion you can make use of. Linux is the first operating system. Unix is the first operating system, you can say. It's very standard one. Unix is very standard one. Still in servers environment, Unix is used. Unix is used. Okay, Unix was actually designed using C language to make it portable. So Unix is one operating system that was designed using the C language that made Unix portable. So while people were designing Unix, they needed a language because they want the Unix operating system to be portable. That means they should develop it for one computer and they should be able to move the same to other computer. That is portability. Runs on one computer and it also runs on another computer, then it is portable. So that's why they designed it using C language. They designed it using C language. In fact, C language was designed for development of Unix only. Since it is commercial version, Unix is a commercial version. Unix-like operating systems for design, and brand name is Linux. So Linux has built-in support for C language. Eclipse, Emacs are the popular IDE environments for C programming in the Linux environment. So we'll not be getting into the details of all these environments. Okay, so you take any environment, doesn't matter. The C program is going to remain the same. The best way of learning C is go and type in the command mode, Linux. Go to the command mode. There you type, use simple editor like VI, bold editor, and then type. No extra support is provided for you. You have to explicitly compile. You have to explicitly run. So we'll learn a lot. So that is the recommended one. But maybe if you are not comfortable, you can use IDEs, integrated development environments. Android is also a free and open source operating system developed or designed by modifying the Linux kernel. The core is the Linux kernel itself, and it was modified to get Android. And now Android runs on mobile phones and tablets. Smartphones, surprisingly, nowadays have very high processing capability. They are no way inferior to your desktop, laptop computer, at least for doing the C language programs. For other operating system, smartphone may not be enough. But for doing C programs, smartphone is okay. The only thing is you have to type the programs quickly. And again, this surprising factor is now the youth can type very fast. So it's not a problem for them, provided they wish. So AD, Droid script are the popular integrated development environments. AD, Droid script are the popular integrated development environments. AD and Droid script. So with smartphones, sometimes you go with the online compilers. That means you require just internet and open a browser and you can type the C programs. So that one such online compiler we will see. So we'll see online compiler and then Turbo C. Maybe that Geni, which you already saw. Mac and iOS operating systems also support C compilers. If you want online compilers, Geek for Geeks program is online GDB or some of the online compilers. You can just type online compiler in the search box. You will get some links. You can go there and type. There will be minor variation between these different online compilers, but program remains the same. You can comfortably use it. Maybe it's just a matter of 5-10 minutes. So for accessing the programming environments, most of the time you will use graphical user interface, but nevertheless, sometimes you may like to use commands at command line interface to do the things quickly. So commands are also important. I will give you the list of commands, maybe only the main commands. I am not going to demonstrate them. I will just provide you the list. You can have a list of commands and depending on your requirement, you can use them. So commands. So commands in Windows environment, these are some of the commands. So CD, which stands for change directory, displays the name of or changes the current directory. CLS clears the screen. COMP, compares the contents of two files or set of files. Copy is one useful command. Copies one or more files to another location. One or more files to another location. Dell deletes one or more files. dir displays a list of files and subdirectories in a directory. Displays a list of files and subdirectories in a directory. Exit quits the command mode. You can come out of the command mode and go to the graphical user mode using exit. Help provides you the list of commands. You can just type help and you get the list of commands. If you have a doubt about any command, you can just type help, or you can type help that command name. Maybe you start with help, try to identify that command, and then type help that command name. Help command name. So it will provide you the complete information regarding that command. MD creates a directory, make directory, creates a directory. Move, similar to the copy, but it moves the files. That means the source file is lost. We'll have only one file, destination file. Path displays or sets the search path for executable files. Type displays the contents of test file. Then if you want to know what is present in the file, then you can just type followed by space followed by file name. So we are not going into the details. These are not part of this course, I can say. These are the fundamentals that are required. These are the fundamentals that are required. I cannot explain everything. Okay. So you can practice them. If you need. And they are simple relatively. Similar commands are available in Linux environment also. Linux command summary. Cat displays the contents of a file. Similar to type, cat displays the contents of a file. CP is for copying. ls something like dir command, dir command of Windows. List the contents of the directory. MV is for moving. RM is for removing files or directories. If you want to delete any file or directory, you can use RM. CD is for changing the directory, and mkdir is for making the directory. rfdir is for removing the directory or set of directories. Help provides help. cmp for comparing two files, and grep is for searching a pattern. WC is for word count. Word count in a file. So this is just a overview of the commands. Which may be useful to you if you really want to work in the command mode. Now, many people may not be interested also. So we are not going into the details. So, but knowing these commands will be useful to you. You can do many wonders using the full commands, which you cannot do using a GUI. Programming environments. Most of the time we will be working in a programming environment, like integrated development environment, which allows you to edit, compile, link, debug the programs. So one IDE is TurboC. So TurboC IDE looks like this. We will discuss this one. We'll go to TurboC environment, but this is the snapshot. This is a snapshot of the TurboC IDE environment. Here you can see file will consist of sub menus for opening the file, saving the file, etc. And then edit, search, run, compile, debug, project, options, window, help. Among this, you will be using file. So this file, be creating the new file, open the file, and then save the file. So after that, you will be using compile for compilation purpose, and run for running. And most of the time you don't use mouse and go to these menus and then select them. So I will be using these shortcuts. F2 for saving. Just press F2. Okay. Alt F9 for compilation. Control F9 for running. Alt F9 for compilation. Control F9 for running the program. Those things you will use, and whenever you want to work on a large project, you can make use of project option, and then the paths, etc., where the header files are present, lib files are present, etc., can be specified in these options. These options. So it consists of menu with the different options to do different tasks. The body part is where you type the programs. So this is the part where you type the programs. Type the programs. We'll go to it. Edit menu for editing. Arrow keys you can use. Search font you can use. Run compilation, debug options. So these are the shortcuts. These are the shortcuts. Control F9 for executing. Want to go to the main menu? First press F10. Then you can use arrow keys to move left and right. And after select down arrow, etc., you can use. You can select by pressing the enter. Go to that menu item, press enter. That will be selected. And one useful feature can be Control F1, which provides what is called as context sensitive help. Context sensitive help. Okay. Context sensitive help means it depends on the context. The help provided depends on the context. That means where you are, where the mouse cursor is. Depending on it, the help that is provided to you changes. So this is online GDB. The online GDB, online compiler, online C compiler, online C compiler for coding, compiling, running, debugging C programs. Okay, online GDB. So you can see the options. You can see the option. This you can open in the browser. Open in the browser. You can see the environment here. So this is where you type the programs. Where you type the programs. Type the program. Run can be used to run the programs. Save for saving. Beautify for adjusting the programs. Don't use it. In some cases it works fine. In some cases, false program also. Don't use it. Don't try to use or get deep into these environments. So learn only what is required for you. So while you are learning in engineering, don't try to learn everything. Don't try to go deep into everything. So we'll never come back. So concentrate on only what you want. Concentrate on only what you want. You are learning C programming, so concentrate on that one. And whatever is required, minimum that is required for learning C programming, learn. Okay. Now what is this one? What happens if I press this one? What happens this one? How to debug, etc., etc. So those things are not required for you. Just first initially get comfortable. Maybe restrict yourself to Turbo C. So I'm using this online GDB also because some of you may not be having desktop, laptop. So everybody should learn. Everybody should learn. That's why I will show it in the online GDB also. So online GDB is online compiler and debugger for many languages, including C language. So the website is www.onlinegdb.com. You can go to that one. You can type the C programs. You can select the C option. You can select the C option. Here you can see there is a language option. If you press this one, the list of languages that are supported will display. Select C among it. select C among it. You can type your programs in the window provided. By clicking a floppy like symbol in the menu bar, you can create a new file. Floppy like symbol. One. The floppy like symbol. You can create a new file. Tree like symbol, you can upload the file. Tree like symbol, this one, you can upload the file. Using run items, that is essential for you. In the menu, you can execute the program. Debug item, to debug the program. Stop, you can stop the execution of the program. Here you can share the program with others. Using save item, you can save the program. Beautify to do proper indentation. Down arrow, create new project, my projects, etc. This you will be using. Okay, we'll go into it. So this is regarding the environments, programming environments. So we'll consider it an online GDB initially and also Turbo C, and we'll be using Geni. Can use Turbo C, but proper support is not available nowadays. Otherwise, the best environment in which you work is Turbo C. Proper support is not there in the sense that proper versions of it are not available. While doing the video recording, there will be some error messages that are displayed. Every time it will be coming. It will be affecting our discussion of programming. We'll see. We'll use it for few programs. So if that obstruction is not a problem for you, because it asks you to save the file to disk, periodically it will be asking. So if it is okay for you, then work in Turbo C environment. If you have desktop or laptop, work in Turbo C environment. If you are a serious programmer, go with Visual Studio. So enjoy the day. Best of luck.